Today I'm going to review England Upturn'd by Barry Blatt, published by Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Now, the default world for Lamentations of the Flame Princess is the 17th century. And that was the era of the 30 Years' War and Pirates of the Caribbean and the English Civil War. And so this is a book on the English Civil War. It takes place a little later than some of the other modules that have definite dates to them. But I ran it earlier because of events going on in my campaign world. So, it's got some great art. And a little bit about when and where the events occur. And some about the English Civil War. So there's several, there's some backstory here. There's several different factions. There's a couple of different magic users who have different goals, who are working at cross purposes with each other. And in a particular village, there's some locations. And there's some rules for ague and dysentery. So, there are rules already in the game for diseases, but this reminds you that the diseases were a real bad problem in those days, and you gotta have it's a 4th level cleric spell to cure that. So unless you get a high level cleric, which didn't exist in real life, you're in trouble. Here's the thing on the weather. I think the weather rolling thing was overly complicated. Too complicated. And so, so this takes place near the Fens, where Oliver Cromwell was from. But he's not a character in this. It's from his neighborhood, his kind of land. Tells about some of the locations. There's like a stone that was carved of the Vikings, an old mill. Here's a map of the village with locations, lots of numbered locations on it. That tells you what's in where. Now there's some stocks that people get put in. Church. But one of the main activities going is they're doing digging. That one of the NPCs has hired people to dig in the Fens. Fens, in case you don't know, is an alkaline wetlands, as opposed to a bog, which is an acidic wetlands. So it's a wetlands, and they're digging, which is not easy to do. I think there's a picture. There's a picture of the dig. So they've got to put boards up, and they've got to put logs around the dig, and it could cave in, but there are some treasures to be found in it. Some randomly rolled treasures that you might find, including one specific one that a particular character wants. And so, depending on who wins, it's possible they could all win. Several mages working at cross purposes. Not exactly cross, just different purposes. And any or all of them could win. And so it tells you what happens if this one wins or that one wins. One of them has a whole magic system based on the Tree of Life and what he could do if he achieves his goal. And then it goes into some arms and armor of the English Civil War. A little thing on reaction and persuasion. It's got a new alignment system for the Civil War. That there's like 2 axes. There's Royalist and Republican, who are opposed to each other. There's also Cavalier and Roundhead, so you could be a Royalist Cavalier or a Republican Roundhead. You know, there are all different variations here. Yes. So that actually makes more of a sense alignment-wise than good, evil, law, and chaos. And fits really well with this. And then there's a section on religion in English lore. And this is why you would want this book. This is like the Clerics handbook for England in the 17th century. There's a little couple of pages on each sect. And some of them have unique spells. There's a Catholic spell, an Anglican spell, Presbyterians, Puritans. One of their spells is praise the Lord and keep your powder dry. Seekers are like proto-Quakers, and they can be multi-class, but they're pacifists. There's Ranters, Muggletonians, which can be multi-classed. Levelers, Diggers, and some other religions. And there's like this fold-out map of before and after England upturns. So that's very nice. So yeah, it's a paperback book, but if you're going to put your campaign world in 17th century Earth, this is an essential book, especially if your players want to run clerics. So that's it.